Welcome to a behind the scenes look of a gaming review. The game is called Kingdom Come Deliverance and my video editing software is called DaVinci Resolve. The first thing you do when you're in a video editing software is you should really bump your performance to high performance. This allows you to move through the timeline much faster without any stuttering, and you can also turn your resolution from, by default, is full, but if you change it to quarter, you could operate the timeline much faster. Here you can see that the quality is much lower, and if I put it on full, then it's in high definition. And when you do this, some of the loading videos for the rest of the timeline can be really slow. So if you're just editing, just go to quarter. Things look blurry, but you can operate much faster. So once again, it's nice to have high performance so you could go through the timeline and everything much faster. So the first thing I do is I usually cut the clips and try to envision something out. So originally this was supposed to be an intro and do my logo introduction and everything, but for my final product I didn't keep this. So for commentating, I usually go into a box, a little text box like this from over here, and then it looks like that. So it has the text I'm going to say, what I'm going to record, and then the clip goes on. I'm playing this in my head, reading it out loud in my head, and the commentary goes like this. The first time I played Kingdom Come Deliverance, I played for hours. So that's how I would determine how long I want this text box to be. So if I was to end it here, let's say that if my recording was this long only, then I would have nothing to commentate here, or maybe I can drag the next box and start reading what I wanted to say next. So that's usually how it goes. And before any of the text that I write down here, I have my whole entire introduction list here. So the first thing I would do is turn the video editing software into a split mode and have it compete against the WordPad here, and then drag this to 90%, and then I would write down what I see in my clips and how would I want to commentate it. And if I don't keep something, then I don't read it. I don't bring it into the program. So if something is good, I would copy this, for example, Control C, and then bring it in here, and then Control V, and then that's how I would have a script. And if it was too big, I would size it down, or you could do something like this. And then, yeah, so that's how I would create my text before I read it. Excuse me, I had a burp. Before I read it out loud. So that's how I would do my my text for my commentary. So yeah, this is my whole entire script of what I wanted to say after I was done editing my video. So usually you want to have something planned out inside your head of what you wanted to say. For this example, I was I wanted to share to the audience what I liked about the game, and I was like, okay, I like that we could just choke people out whenever we want because it's fun, and we can steal from them if we want. And so that's what I expressed in my text. So yeah, so that's how we do it. And then just gonna go back to the timeline. If your timeline is way too big, it's gonna be very slow because it takes so much power to read all these videos. And sometimes the program would even it would cap out, and you would have to close the program and reopen it, and that's such a hassle. So doing something like this where you only edit in one timeline is a terrible workflow. And so for my first timeline here, I still had these chapters, and for my final product, I didn't have these anymore. So what I would do was Control C, highlight all the clips that I wanted, Control C, and then, you know, if you're gonna bring it into a different timeline or just like to post it somewhere else, Control V, and then the whole entire timeline would be, you could create a whole new timeline. That's what I'm trying to say here. So for my folders up here, originally this program is just like by the way it's imported or something, and I like to have it by bin. This way I have the power to separate and categorize things the way I want much more easier. So this folder is for all the things that are combat related. This folder is solely for my voiceover, and then this folder is solely for timeline. So when you create a new timeline, it's going to pop up and you could do new things in there. So I redid the intro, and instead of the whole entire video, now we only have 3 minutes to work with. And that's so much easier to look at versus a whole entire timeline where you have to figure out where things are, and it's such a hassle. So if you want to have good flow, make different timelines. So for commentating, when you are commentating and the audio is way too loud, it's going to pop up into the red. So I know that for this clip, it's going to pop up right here. You could see that the audio goes super high right there. And when we go into our music and voice section here, audio 4, so it's going to be in the fourth timeline for the audio. So A4, audio 4 here. And when I'm commentating here, you're going to see it pop up to the red, and that means that the audio is way too loud. So we're going to play it, or flat and poor texture. You see that? It popped up to the red, and that's not good. Or flat and poor texture. So what you want to do in an instant like that, for some reason it doesn't show the wavelengths here, but it does on this other timeline here. So what you want to do is go in, split the clip, and go closer, and you could see you want to match the wavelengths, and then just like listen to it. Or flat, and you got to listen to see if it's organic, if it flows together. Environments are flat and okay, so that's pretty good. So now when we play it, once it passes the clip we edited here, it won't be red anymore. It would just naturally flow, and that's what you want. Environments are flat and poor texture. Some of the nature environments are flat and poor texture. Okay, so it looks like it was pretty loud on other areas too. So yeah, so for example, environments are flat and poor texture. Maybe it was still too loud. Okay. Sorry, it's a bad demonstration, but yeah, I don't. Are flat and poor texture. There we go. So something like that would work. Even if it's a little, it's still okay. But if the main bar goes to the red, then it's not so good. But for the audio bar, for the solo audio bar here, it doesn't matter so much. Okay, so that's how I would do audio, and yeah. So for a second timeline, I still had the chapters from the copy and paste before, but once I bring it in, I remove everything. So if I don't want to see the text boxes anymore, I could just close it out like this or delete it. So in my final timeline, I deleted it. So yeah, that's basically how it goes. So this is the final product in one timeline, and this is what I render for once I'm done. I'll always remember the okay, so yeah, right now it's not playing fast because there's way too much videos here.
7 out of 10.
But yeah, this is what would go through.
I liked it
and
enough
you can see
to
that
do
the
two
text here
different
pops
styles
up
of
one by
playthrough.
one after I'm done commentating. So that's how I did my
The game
scoring
uses
and
real
everything
faces
here.
of some people. The story was very safely done.
Okay, so at the end of all my Kingdom Come Deliverance things, this is what I had. So if you go to properties here, you could see it's over 450 gigabytes of video footage. And for the proxies, this is where I put all my voiceovers and proxies. So proxies are when you are trying to view the video faster. So I think I removed my proxies after I completed this video, but what a proxy does is it allows you to edit faster because it's using a secondary image instead of the real video file, which could be a lot. So this is all my video library recorded for Kingdom Come Deliverance. So I started to play the games in January 2023. And then I did some, I picked up the game 1 year later. So 2023 right here, and then 2024, so March to March. And then that's when I completed the rest of the game. And then I also did a hardcore playthrough where I don't kill anyone. And this is where all my video footage is. So for my bugs folder, this is where I kept my bugs, and I could talk like, hey, this game tripped out right here. You have too many faces, or yeah, you're using the same face, or whatever the case may be. So this is where I would put it, because as you can see here, it's sharing. There's a lot of NPC cloning, so that's what I would address there too. And yeah, so, and then for when I wanted to talk about price, this is the sales. And then for review, this is where I put whatever I can think of inside of the library here. So I didn't put this into the game with like talking about the dirty armor. Sometimes there's just, you don't want to put too much footage into one video, even though you can. You want to make it watchable, I would say. And I don't want to talk about every single aspect of the game. I just wanted to make a video and talk about, hey, this is what I like and what I don't like. If I was doing a deep dive, I would talk about every single aspect, but I still got the footage for it. I didn't talk about like being able to do your own honing your sword and sharpening it. I didn't talk about that. I was just like, you can go to the blacksmith because that's the alternative. And I didn't talk about the repair. Like, hey, I can repair my own clothes. You know, it just takes too much time sometimes, and you want to simplify it. That's how I would see it. And then I didn't talk about cleaning. So, you know, in a, like, when you're trying to do a video game review, I would say you don't want to have so much things where it's like completely overwhelming, I would say. But that's just me. That's my opinion. That's what I decided to cut down on. And then, yeah, I could have added this in too. Like, hey, you can steal and all that type of stuff. I didn't do that for my review. And then there was one guy who was complaining about my review. It was like, you know, when you're talking stuff about people's favorite game, they're going to feel some type of way. They're going to act like they have some higher knowledge over you. And you know what? It's fine. You can take the criticism, whatever, man. But part of the story in this game, it doesn't it's just like no one is capable except for this hero here. And you know, something I would have loved this game was to show us what it is to become a bohemian knight. And they don't explain anything in this game. They just say, hey, I'm taking you into my personal service. And then that's it. I wear a plate of armor and I'm suddenly a knight. But the game doesn't give you a sword to celebrate it. The game doesn't give you armor to celebrate. This is my own armor and my own sword, and I'm suddenly under the service of this guy. There's no ceremony, there's no ritual, there's nothing to celebrate this that says, hey, you're a bohemian knight. You know, so I didn't want to include that because it's a spoiler. And I did some comparisons with like from Skyrim. Say, hey, Kingdom Come Deliverance is missing horizontal strikes, but it's not so much to like. It's not there to talk bad about the game. It's just there to say, hey, this is missing. And then I have some extra video footage for the DLCs, but man, there is way too much. There's way too much of these cutscenes, and they cost a lot of storage. Like, let's see. Wow. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so some of these are like 1 gig and 2 gigs, and yeah. So that's why I have a separate folder for this one. And then yeah, that's basically it for how it looks like behind the scene for a gaming review, I would say. So I showed you some of the audio, how the timelines should go, how much storage, and how all the clips are lined up. So the way the clips are lined up are from the day I played, and I would just record and record and record. So the next day it would pop up like this and this and this and so on. So everything is ordered from the my recording software. And yeah, that's basically it. So that's what it looks like when you're behind the scenes of a video game editing video. So yeah, here's the intro.
I played for hours.
And then here's the first script. And that's basically it. All right, peace.